Fantastic. So yes, please make sure you fill in all the details. It is one entry per person to the raffle, and stick to the end because we are going to take the prizes right to the very end. Now, it is my privilege to introduce another amazing, powerful woman, a change maker in the world, a truly exceptional leader, and a woman that I have really come to admire, have massive respect for, and it's been a real privilege to work very closely with the incredible Melissa Kotter, Ambassador Diamond. She left her corporate life to become a professional network marketer, right? So how's that for defying social norms? So back in 1999, as a new MBA graduate, Melissa chose the network marketing profession as her full-time career so she could design a life while making a difference. When she found ASEA, she realized she'd finally found her home. So this lady is a true change maker. Put your hands together for the incredible Melissa Kotter.
Yay. Thank you so much, Justin. I hope I can live up to your reputation of me. But
you always do. You're amazing.
Thank you, Justin. It really is a great honor to be here. And my ASEA story, interestingly enough, actually started when I was 23. And I was in intensive care in a hospital bed in Sydney, and the nurse wanted to administer me with a drug I'd been selling in the field for the last few years as a pharmaceutical rep. And I had a really strong sense that I probably wouldn't make it out of the hospital if she gave me that drug. So I had a massive integrity crisis on my hands, and I realized I couldn't go back to the life I was living. And like Gina, I offered up a prayer and said, if you help me get out of the hospital, I'm going to spend the rest of my life helping people to take a more proactive approach to their health. And please guide me to the foundation of health. Please show me where that is. Well, I walked out of the hospital, rehabilitated, handed back the keys to the beloved company car, and not long afterwards met a chiropractic student. He graduated, we moved to South Australia, leased a couple of clinics for a year, and then we moved to Far North Queensland and we opened 3 really successful chiropractic clinics. And I was 25, absolutely loved being an entrepreneur, just not one to really like being told what to do and when to do it, ask my husband. So it was a relief to break out of that environment. But I knew there was more that I wanted to add to the world. I had untapped potential that was really niggling at me. And I wanted to take the 4 office walls of the clinic and stretch them out over the world, mostly because I was extremely time poor. First patient 8 a.m., last patient 8 p.m. And I didn't want to continue living my life like that. So I decided to enroll in an MBA to find a business more suited to me. I thought that's the only way I knew at the time to find it. I got 3/4 of the way through my degree. I did finish it, but a patient approached me about the network marketing business model. And I've got to say, my first thought was like this shame that almost passed through the umbilical cord or something, because I had just studied 6 years full time, not like Dr. Maureen, but I was grooming myself for something else, not a profession where I needed not to put myself through that pain. And so I let it sink in and I realized I had to get out of my own way, because the reality at the time, the only reason the clinics were successful is because of word of mouth marketing. So the Australian Medical Association had their foot on the necks of chiropractic profession. We were not allowed to promote the clinics. We were not allowed to advertise. So word of mouth was it. So I jumped into the profession and I built a substantial business and was earning some of the highest checks in the company when I met my current husband, Bart. And so I moved to Utah. I sold my business, and as often happens in life, it can change overnight. So unbeknownst to us, he was the beginning of a 12.5-year court journey that was intense, and it destroyed us financially in the end. But I've got to tell you, through the 68 court hearings we went through, we also had custody, or Bart did, full-time custody of his 2 boys. We knew we were in a firewalk. We just had to keep moving forward. And so when we were near the end of it, we thought, we never missed a bill payment, not a single bill payment, because of this business model that Bart has been in the industry for a long time, was very successful. And our mortgages were paid. we didn't quite live the life we were accustomed to, but we didn't miss out on a single thing. We didn't miss out on being there for the kids, not once, through their childhood. But we saw a window where we could bolt back to Australia because I needed to change my reality a little bit. But before we did, we had a garage sale, and Vertus and Bonnie Norton, the founders of ASEA, they have 4 children, 3 sons. John Norton walked up our driveway this day of the garage sale. And it wasn't what he said. He spoke about his dad, Vertus, the formation of the company. He talked about Dr. Gary Samuelson, this atomic medical physicist. And I went back inside and I said to Bart, I have no idea why, but I just met someone incredibly special. If you've met the Norton family, they're all incredibly special human beings. And I knew I had to remember that conversation. We moved to Australia. ASEA wasn't in Australia yet. And often is the case when you come through something traumatic, you fall apart at the end. So I was severely traumatized. I couldn't even see what was happening around me. So in terms of being open to anything, I really wasn't. We had our backs up against the wall financially. The company we were with had completely lost their way. They lost integrity. And so eventually, the right day at the right time, Bart received a phone call from Ed Weens, our sponsor in ASEA. Bart saw it, he jumped in, went to the United States to attend an event. I stayed at home to look after his kids, had a swig of ASEA and promptly said, I'm not going to touch that again. And so the reality was I had to get out of my own way. And I watched a 5-minute product quick draw video. And I instantly realized that as a 23-year-old, the request I had to find the foundation of health, I had found it. It was in my hands. And I nearly overlooked it because I was just so used to being incredibly angry that I couldn't see anything. And so I then watched the ASEA Genesis video, and I realized this company were not going to let me down. They were going to always have our backs. They have integrity. And I absolutely knew with the uniqueness of this technology, it was going to change the world. So I decided I was definitely not going to miss out on that opportunity. But ASEA, for me, it's been a healing ground. It's been a way for me to reinvent myself because I was sort of stuck with thinking I'm never going to be able to become the person I thought I was always meant to be. Well, with ASEA, because it's such a safe environment, it's a home for so many of us, I've really been able to fulfill that untapped potential. I've got a lot more growth to do, but in terms of helping people and not doing harm, that fills my soul with joy. And it really is the people in ASEA that has made the biggest difference to me. So in closing, don't think you know what this is until you really look at it and you move it from your head to your heart, because that's when you really know what this is in terms of these molecules, how huge this is, and the direction that we're actually traveling in. Don't allow your happiness to be at jeopardy of somebody who may have an opinion about you entering our profession. If you treat this as a professional, it has the potential to change your life like Gina's and be there for you in those really rough years when life will turn on its head potentially again. If you're someone with that niggling untapped potential, the stage is set. The platform is yours to come in and shine brighter than the brightest stars in the heaven and make a difference that right now you may not even be able to imagine or conceive of. You do have to take that leap of faith, but it is so worth it. And I want to extend to new people out there, take that leap of faith and come and join us, because the mission that we're on to change the face of health science, the mission we're on to change lives, it needs you. And we have such an amazing journey ahead of us all. And I think back to 6 years ago when I nearly missed this. I think back to 25-year-old when my shame and embarrassment of what this could be nearly stopped me. And I'm just so glad that I made the decision I made, and I'll never, ever look back. Thank you, Justin.
Just beautiful. Thank you so much, Melissa. Put your hands together, everyone.